Welcome to Upticks. I'm Jake Falcon, the founder of Falcon Wealth Advisors and your host of Upticks. Today is episode 103, Retirement Housing. Okay, so before I dive into episode 103 of Upticks, I hope that all of you out there, of course, are staying healthy and safe. None of us know when or how, I guess we know how, the pandemic's going to end. Certainly when we get a vaccine or the virus stops spreading. But like I said, I hope all of you are staying healthy and safe out there. Just know that this too will pass. Nobody can predict it, but I hope you and all of your families are protecting yourselves and others. For today's topic, I wanted to talk about retirement housing. I'm actually reading a really good book. It's a pretty good book about retirement. And what I liked about it is they dedicated a whole chapter to where are you going to live when you retire. And this conversation actually comes up a lot when I meet with my clients. So I thought I'd talk about a few of the things that we think about or that we encourage our clients to think about as they enter and eventually go into retirement. So first off, I think a big misconception is a lot of people out there think that they need to not have a mortgage before they retire. And I would argue that's not necessarily the case. We have many clients that are still paying a mortgage well into retirement. The most important thing I think to think about as far as going into retirement with a mortgage is making sure that it fits in your budget or in your cash flow projections. So if you normally need $6,000 or $7,000 a month and you have a $2,000 or $3,000 a month mortgage, it's okay. Just tack that onto the top and make sure that you have that included in the budget. Now, with all that being said, if you are, 5-10 years away from retirement and you have an opportunity to accelerate some mortgage payments, I'm not necessarily saying that's a horrible idea either. What that would allow for is a much easier cash flow environment. So that means that your 401k or your investments for retirement don't need to have the burden of generating the income for a mortgage. That's again, if you're close. Also, we are currently in a very low interest rate environment. I do not like seeing clients take out money from their 401k or IRA, creating a potential tax situation. So it's probably going to be treated as ordinary income, and you may or may not even have to pay a penalty, depending on your age, to pay off your mortgage. The whole idea is that your mortgage rate, if you have good credit and you've looked at refinancing, you probably should be somewhere around 2, 3, 4%. And if your investments can earn you or 6, 7, or 8% on average, well, then it makes sense to probably maybe keep that mortgage and just make the payments versus pulling your money out of investment. So again, if you can afford it through employment income and cash flow, and you're already maxing out your retirement savings and your financial plan looks very healthy to do so, then certainly maybe worth taking a look at. But I'm not suggesting that you have to go into retirement debt-free. Not at all, actually. It all boils down to that financial plan. Now, as far as where are you going to live in retirement, there's a lot of clients that do different things, which is one of the joys of my job being a financial advisor or wealth advisor at Falcon Wealth Advisors, is that I get to have these conversations. So I've seen clients downsize, which is, probably the broadly thought amongst people is, okay, I've got a big house, my kids are grown and gone, I don't need this much real estate. Let's go downsize, let's save some money and live something more manageable. I've seen clients move into bigger homes. I've seen clients build lake houses or second or third homes in different places. And so I think it really comes down to, what do you want to do? What's important to you and your spouse if you're married, or just you if you're single? And what type of environment do you want to live in? Certainly with COVID and more people staying home, you've probably gotten a pretty good idea of what you do and don't like about your house. I know Rachel and I certainly have, and that's why we've been doing some home improvement projects around our property, is that we found some things that we necessarily didn't enjoy. So we decided just to improve on some things. Our landscaping, might look at doing some things on the interior as well. So it comes down to just saying, hey, what do you like? What do you not like about your house? Do you want bigger? Do you want smaller? If it's a budgeting thing or a financial planning thing, we at Falcon Wealth Advisors, we can help you. We can certainly plug that into your financial plan and let you know, hey, this is how much of a mortgage you can afford. Or if you downsize, this would allow this much more in your travel budget. So we can toggle those things up and down to help you make a good decision as far as where you're going to retire, what environment you're going to retire in. And then the third point I wanted to bring up regarding retirement housing is there's also more and more retirement communities popping up across the country. And so those are pretty fascinating. So a lot of them are geared for the 50 and older crowd, or sometimes 60 and older, or 70 older perhaps. And these could be like college campuses for retirees. So you might have bars and shops that you can go to. It might be in a golf community. They certainly normally have gyms and exercise facilities. A lot of times they have dining halls. So you can find some pretty cool things in some really neat climates and look at it. And I don't necessarily think those are a bad idea. I think you want to be careful though, because sometimes they can be rather expensive, and you want to make sure you are very clearly understanding what exactly you get for your money before signing up to live in a retirement community. And simply at Falcon Wealth Advisors, we can plug that into your budget and see if it makes sense financially. That also drives up a little side point here of long-term care insurance. Now, long-term care insurance is an interesting subject. Basically what that is that if you pay a premium for insurance, if you have to go to a nursing home, for lack of a better term, or need some assisted living, what will happen is this long-term care policy will typically pay for some of your rent. Now, the issue I have with long-term care insurance, though, is that a lot of times these insurance companies will start raising the price of the premiums as you get older. And the reason is the likelihood that you may actually need one of these places becomes higher. So they want to charge you more, which I think is a little absurd. And so it becomes very expensive to people that may need it the most. In the end, it's all about money, right? So they're trying to play probabilities and figure out what's going to make sense and where they can make money off of you. For our clients, if you want to see long-term care or a budget for moving into a retirement home or a nursing home, we can put that in your financial plan. And what me and my team would like to do first is see if you can self-fund it. Can we just carve out a piece of your portfolio to budget in for that so you don't have to pay these high premiums that have a very real risk of going up on you as you get older in life? If you can't afford it on your own, then we'll look at long-term care insurance or maybe alternative routes. Maybe you do live in your house and it's paid for. Maybe the plan is to sell it if you need to go to a nursing home one day, right? So there's all these different scenarios that we can run, but I'd be careful of long-term care insurance. You want to make sure that if you're getting it, that you understand that the risks are that the premiums could potentially go up, and you want to know what that's going to look like. Okay, good. So that's all the time that I do have for you today. Hopefully this opened your eyes or your mind to a little bit thinking about, where am I going to live in retirement? What's that going to look like? These are conversations that me and my team certainly enjoy having with our clients. And absolutely, if you want us to run the numbers and plug in different scenarios in your financial plan, we're definitely happy to do that. You can find me out there. This is a quick plug to all our social media platforms. So I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. A thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Or if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, I want to thank you so much for tuning into Upticks. Please make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss another episode as we continue to roll out our organic content at Falcon Wealth Advisors. And as far as a fun note, as you can see, my business casual dress today with my Falcon Wealth Advisors logo on. I'm getting ready to go have a golf lesson right after the show. It's in the 70s in August in Kansas City, and I figure why not take advantage of that? So Rachel and I, again, in our favorite pooch, Einstein, we've just been hanging out at the house, trying to stay safe and healthy. I've got a great landscaper that's done some beautiful work around our yard. So if anybody needs some landscaping, I've got a great guy for you. And that's basically what's new for us. So like I said, I hope, one quick note, I had a client refer, I think it's on Amazon, Yellowstone. I don't know if anyone's watched that out there, but I think Rachel and I are going to start watching that. I heard it's really good. I don't know anything about it really. I think Kevin Costner's in it. So I'm excited to check that one out. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope all of you, again, like I said in the beginning, are staying safe and healthy, and hope you have a great week.